All right, guys, happy Thursday. First Thursday of the month. I apologize. I am like exhausted. I don't know what's going on. I think it's because I've been actually getting up early. Perks of being your own boss. You can lay in bed till 9 o'clock, but I've been actually getting up earlier than 9 o'clock. So let's go ahead and start with the recognition. Congratulations to our top 5 coaches of the week. Jill Kelly with 540 PV. She knocked out of the park last week. I don't know if you guys remember Jill's post the last year of the month. I'm not going to get Success Club 5. And she ended the month with Success Club 5. So she killed it last week. Sarah Berry with 360 PV. Sorry for the minor typo that was on the recognition post. Sheena Burns with 355 PV. Candace Thom with 255 PV. And Ashley, I'm going to botch your last name, Bearwald. Yeah, yes, yeah, with 240 PV. So congratulations. Ashley's a new coach. She just joined us last week. So it's awesome that she's already in our top 5 coaches for PV. So great job. I forgot to hold that thought. I'm looking at my screen as I talk to you guys. Let's talk about April real quick. We had an awesome month in April. Congratulations to Emily Albreko, who was our coach of the month last month. Emily signed up 2 new coaches, ranked advanced 1 new coach, had the highest PV on the team, the most Success Club points with 11, and became Diamond rank. Yay. So congratulations, Emily, for being the top coach of the month. You get a nice little swag jacket later, hopefully soon, not too long. Congratulations to everybody that hit Success Club 5 in the month of April. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people that hit Success Club. We had 6 ranked up, so what an amazing month. We're off to a great start for April. Nope. It's May. We're off to a great start for May. We have 6 new coaches on the team, so great job. Let's just keep that momentum going. We do have our sneak peek starting on the 18th. Our last one was a great success for us. We had over 80 people in the sneak peek. I think we got 9 new coaches out of it. So when you think in terms of numbers, it's actually really good to get 9 new coaches out of like an 80-person sneak peek. So that's awesome. So you guys are going to want to start promoting that starting Monday. Refer to your handy-dandy fun calendar that I made for you guys. It tells you when you should start promoting it and what's going on. The Emerging Emerald group also starts on the 18th. So for any new coaches that did not get into the one that started this past Monday, make sure you finish up the Girl Boss training so that way you can get into it. Message me or your upline if you have any questions. I don't think there's no promotions for Success Club this month unless you are going to Summit. So for all my Summit goers, you have to get Success Club 10 this month and next month. If you want to attend the Success Club party, you can bring a guest. So we may be able to work it out where enough people qualify. And if some people don't qualify, we can bring the other coaches that don't qualify and just have a grand old time. So that is the qualification. If you're one of my personally sponsored coaches, check out the team page for something that I am doing this month for you guys. As always, for the entire team, if you hit Success Club 5, please, 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 please edit the document, add your name to it. I'm no longer going to remind you guys at the beginning of each month. If y'all don't want prizes, well, that's your luck for not editing the document. I forgot to pick the runner, so I will post it tomorrow. So if you go to the file section, the team page, it says Success Club. All you have to do is edit it. I pick a name. You win something. This month, if I wouldn't have reminded anybody, nobody would have run a prize. So make sure you guys edit that once you hit Success Club 5. I don't care how many points you have. As long as you have 5, just edit it, put it on there. I think that's everything I have. I am going to hand the call over to Lindsay. I always want to call her Nolan because that's how I knew her for like 2 years, Lindsay Sessions. She isn't feeling the best, so it's super awesome that she's doing the call. She put a little handout in the team page. Hopefully you guys printed that off. If not, at least have it on the screen next to you, like kind of do side screens so you guys can take awesome notes. For those new to the call to the team, Lindsay Sessions is one of our Diamond coaches. She joined us at the very end of December. She's rocking it, Hit Success Club every single month, just doing her thing. So Lindsay, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you. Let me take you off of mute so you can talk. Take it away. Oh, and if anybody has any questions, the chat feature at the bottom of the screen, go ahead and use that during the call.
What's up, people? I'm really sick and I sound like a freak, so enjoy. Okay, I guess I'll just start. Post your questions if you have any. So I was thinking about this and thinking about like what stalls me and like what makes me not reach out. And we were kind of talking about it, and it kind of always comes down to inviting. You never see anybody like, oh, I like didn't, drink my Shakeology, or oh, I didn't, do my personal development. Like it's always like, oh, I totally failed to invite anyone. No wonder nothing's happening. Also for me, I don't know if it's for everybody else, but when I take like a week off or like, a couple of days off, like I always have to like rebuild this momentum. It's always like I have to spend like 3 times more just like getting back to where I was. So everyone's favorite, be consistent in everything that I'm about to say, and it'll be way faster and more efficient than taking a few days off and then being like, okay, let me do this. It just seems so much harder. So things that I think for me that stop me before I even start are not even asking people. I think that probably all of us are guilty of this, and posting a post saying like, comment if you're interested or let me know, that's not inviting. It's like messaging someone like, hey, let me know if you have questions. Not really inviting someone either. Like you have to ask the question. You have to say, hey, is this something you'd be interested in? Don't leave it open-ended where people are like, I'm totally guilty of that. I'll just be like, yeah, I'm going to ignore that. Have to ask the questions. Just like if you go to like any sales place, like used car lot, or like even like your like waitress, they'll be like, do you want dessert? They're never like, let me know if you want dessert. No. Ask the questions. Next, super guilty of this, not tracking who you're talking to. When you keep a list of who you're talking to, who you're following up with, you're more organized, you know who you're talking to, you can focus more, and you can look back. You can say, last month I talked to this person, they weren't ready, but maybe now. That also leads to the third point, following up. If you don't track who you talk to, you don't track who you can follow up with. And I would go as far as to say that no one has ever asked someone like, hey, do you want to be a beach body coach? And they're like, yeah, for sure, the first time. Like, no, that doesn't happen. Like my mom didn't even say yes the first time. You have to follow up with people. I think I read somewhere like the average is like 6 to 10 or something like that, follow-ups. I mean, not every day. Don't do that. But, follow up with people. Just make it organic. Number 4, not growing your network. When I started, growing my network was different than probably what it actually is. Adding random people that I have mutual friends with on Facebook and then doing nothing with that is not really building to your network. If you feel weird saying something to them, they're probably not going to say anything to you either. So if you add people, you should always like say, hey, like thanks for the ad. Like I noticed we had a lot of people in common, or like, hey, oh my God, I haven't talked to you since high school. How have you been? People love talking about themselves. And if they didn't want to add you, they wouldn't. But if you're like, what are you doing these days? Where do you live? They're going to just talk about themselves forever. And then once you've kind of opened that line of communication, they're going to see your posts. You're going to see theirs. You're going to comment on their stuff. And you'll actually build your network as opposed to just like increasing your friends list by 5. Not really building your network if you have no ability to talk to that person. And then finally, of things that are stopping you, feeling overwhelmed. I think probably all of us feel that way sometimes. Just like I feel like I have a million things to do. I feel like I don't know where I'm going with this, I'm not sure what I should do next. I don't know where to begin. For me, just make a list. It doesn't matter if you get everything done on a list today, and you can identify like this needs to be done today. This can wait till the weekend. Okay, I'll do this next week. Being overwhelmed can be super paralyzing, and it's really easy to just be like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do anything. And just try not to do that. Like I said, it's really hard to like get back to where you were. So just take a deep breath. Everyone feels that way. You know, you're not going to become a millionaire overnight. There's no pressure except for what you put on yourself. So it's natural to feel overwhelmed, but don't let it debilitate you. And give yourself permission to fail. Don't feel like if you mess something up, or like if you make a post and it has no likes, or like you have this conversation with someone that just goes like super south, move on. Like no one's perfect. Every top coach has messed stuff up. Like everybody has failed, and probably no one has succeeded without failing. Sorry. All right. Things to keep in mind before: quality over quantity. Kind of going back to the adding randoms, you have to think about who you're adding. You know, adding all these crazy people that probably have no interest, you're not going to turn them into anything. Like, especially like if you can't have the conversation. So just think about like who you can talk to, who you can identify with, and who like might have a need for it. Having 2 people that like would really gain from it is way better than having 50 people that don't need the opportunity. Okay. Growing your network. These are just some things that I was thinking. Don't do them all. Do what works for you. But try and do some, and try and branch out and try something new. The first thing is Facebook groups. And what I mean by that is like growing your network by getting involved in other groups. I see lots of you adding yourselves to groups that comes up on my newsfeed, like this person joined this group with like-minded interest people, you know, like join a running group, join a group about like Disney World, and then get really involved in it. You'll meet people that you're like, oh my God, like we have a lot in common. Like I actually really like you as a person. But be involved. You can't just like be in the group looking at posts. Like you're not going to grow your network that way. You have to like really, you know, find people that seem like, you know, you could talk to, you could be friends with, like you can have a conversation with, and maybe find a need. The next is Facebook like page ads. I don't have that much experience with this, but I know a lot about them. That's a good way to like really target your niche, and once you've figured it out, and really just like grow your network with people that you have a lot in common with. You can get it down to like by age, by interest, and just find people that you have similar interests with, and that's what it's all about. Like, and that's probably more successful than adding like all these weirdos you went to high school with that you like secretly hate. So it doesn't have to be that expensive. Obviously, it's the only option here that's not free, but you know, you can make it fit your budget. You don't have to spend $1,500 a week, and just try it out. Like if you lose $10, you know, you lose $10, but you know, you could meet 3 new people that eventually might turn into really good coaches or customers or friends or whatever. After that, be active on social media. That kind of goes back to point 1, but like your growing your network, you have to think about your current network too, and your following or whatever you want to call it, and engaging with them. Don't spend so much time finding new people that you like forget about who is currently following you and what they, you know, being involved with them. Once you're talking to people, they're going to be looking at you too. You know, when you're commenting on their photos, they're probably looking at your page like, what is she doing? You know? After that is posting about challenge groups. And I'm sure we all do this, but I think it's, at least for me, it's one of those things I just like kind of forget about. I don't always post about my challenge group. And I'll be honest, that's one of the things I sort of feel weird about doing, like putting on my news feed for like all my friends, especially on Facebook, like, hey, who wants to do this? Like, sometimes I'm like, ugh, please don't let my mother-in-law see this, or whoever, you know, like, it's kind of like, okay, to date, no one has like called me up and been like, fuck you, Lindsay, I don't want to eat that. Like, no, nobody does that. Like, nobody is doing that. There's so much more weird crap on people's news feeds than you being like, hey, who wants to eat clean or work out with me? I have to get over that, and everybody else should too. Sorry about the F word, my bad. Another point. Create your list of 100, 200 people and don't prejudge. What I mean by that is don't be like, ooh, she does Advocare, not going to add her. Or like, ooh, she's already super fit, not going to add her. Or she's super rich, she doesn't. You know, whatever reason you're prejudging people, don't do it. I was super guilty of this too, but I actually just had one of my first customers who was a previous like Advocare, I don't know what they call them, distributor or whatever. And she just bought a challenge pack and she's totally loving it. And I didn't say anything to her because I'm like, oh, she's an Advocare person. But, you know, sometimes people want to try new things or it's not working for them. So don't prejudge. Just really go out there and be like, you know, hey, obviously, honestly, like, I'm starting this business. I'm loving it. I think it would be a great opportunity for you. I can't stop thinking about how good you'd be at this. Is this something you'd be interested in? Don't prejudge. If they say, you know what, no, Advocare is working super well for me, that's great, move on. It's no sweat off your back if someone says no. And then Instagram hashtags. Sometimes it feels like a lot of work. And sometimes I feel like I'm going through and I'm like, beach buddy coach, beach buddy coach, beach buddy coach, beach buddy coach. And then I just get annoyed. But honestly, you can find so many good people in there. That's where Ashley has found almost all of us. That's where I came from. That's where Jill is one of my coaches. I found her there. Like, that's really where you find people if you spend the time and look through. That being said, don't just like a million photos of random things and then like not follow up. When you find someone and you're like, this person is actually potential, we have a lot in common, you know, keep the conversation going and add them to your list. I'm really bad at that. But once, especially with Instagram, once that conversation is over, it's hard to remember like, who was that? Maybe that's just me, but if you add them to your list and you add them to your follow-up list, then you're going to keep the conversation going and it's going to grow a lot. That relationship's going to grow a lot faster and a lot more organically. It's not going to be like 6 months later, like, oh yeah, oh, she signed up to be somebody else's coach. Don't drop the ball because you're doing the work. They're seeing your post. They're like, oh, this looks cool. This looks cool. And the first person that's going to be like, do you want to be a beach buddy coach? You're like, yeah, like that was really interesting. But you didn't ask. So be sure to follow up with those people. Hosting a shake and share. I cannot speak from experience on this, but it sounds like something that would be a raving success. Have people over to your house and, you know, just if it's a girls' night or it's like dinner or whatever, just have people over and like try Shakeology. I honestly don't know that many people that try Shakeology and they're like, this is really horrible. Like, I'm not into this. So if you let people try, I think you have a higher percentage of success. That being said, you know, not everybody is probably going to have everyone over their house. It's probably not for everyone. But, you know, if you have a group of friends, like maybe coworkers or whatever, invite them over. Take a step out of your comfort zone. And again, I've never done it, but if I had friends that lived in Charleston, I would do it. Let's see. Pinterest. Not something I have a ton of experience with, but I see, like, sometimes I'll search something on Pinterest, like, I wonder what's out there, like, if it's, like, challenge groups or whatever. And honestly, there's not that much. So I think there's, like, a ton of um, there's a ton of room to grow on Pinterest. So if you invest some time in Pinterest and like make a blog and link back to your blog or like your Facebook, I think you'd probably have a lot of success. Really, the number one person I see on Pinterest is Melanie Mitro, and she's the number one coach. So it seems to be doing well for her. But I think but Pinterest is kind of like the white girl Google these days. So I go to Pinterest and I'm like, challenge group ideas, like, like anything, I go to Pinterest first. So if somebody like sees something about Beachbody and they're like, oh, let's type this into Pinterest, there's really not that much that comes up. So if you go at Pinterest, I'm sure you'd probably have a lot of success. You can thank me for that tip when it goes well for you. To piggyback off that, creating a blog takes a lot of time. If you're not into writing, if you're, not willing to invest the time, you're not going to be consistent, don't do it. But blogging can be really successful. People are going to find you like by Googling things, especially if you have good headlines. There's a lot of potential for blogs. I know I follow a million bloggers. I look everything up on bloggers, and then I get hooked into their blog. Like I read an article about like how to make your own peanut butter. And then 3 hours later, I like know their life story, and, I'm like ready to like join their business. They're going to be my new Beachbody coach. So people like can really like get to know you by blogging. So that's another thing to think of trying out. You just kind of have to branch out. You can't just be posting on social media like 24/7 and expect that your business is going to grow that way. So again, I'm not saying you need to do all of these, but you should probably try a few to branch out. Offer a freemium. Shirley Johnson talks about that a lot. You have to, again, be like ready to invest some time, some effort. You could make like a recipe guide. You could do, workout, like a week of workouts. You could do anything and then collect their email address. I'm sure like if my coworker like, hey, here's like a 7-day meal plan. Like I just thought that maybe you'd be interested in this. I know tons of my coworkers would be like, oh my God, thank you. Like that's so nice. Then I have their email address, their personal email address. And so I think that would probably work for a lot of people. Again, I don't do that. I hope to one day do that. And maybe all of us should one day do that. But it's just something to like start thinking about, like maybe keeping your content, as you post things, like think like, okay, maybe I could turn this into a freemium, because your posts should have content. You shouldn't always be posting pictures of your cat or funny memes. Yeah, I get a lot of likes when I post funny memes or like ridiculous photos, but that's not always gonna get you the people you're looking for. It's like giveaways. I see a lot of like pages giving away iPads. That's not like, I want an iPad, but I also don't want your like guide on how to like computer program. But I still want your iPad, so I'm still going to enter. Like, that's maybe not going to help you. So just, like, think as you make posts, like, okay, like, maybe people would be interested in this. And then keep it in the back of your mind for, one day I'll make a freemium. Okay, how to present the business. Oh, wait, sorry. Make YouTube videos. This is stepping out of my comfort zone, but making videos seems really scary. I don't know why. But making videos seems really scary and embarrassing and weird. But I mean, I have no makeup on, no bra on, and here I am. So, I mean, it's only up from here. But make a video, make a 5-minute video on what is coaching. So the next time someone is like, can you tell me more? Send them your video or, something like that. Like people connect with videos. That's another thing. Like I go through YouTube and like look at all these like Beachbody coaches. I'm like, wow, like they're awesome. Like I can do that too, but I don't. So team challenge, make a video in the next 7 days. Everybody post a video to the team page. It can be about like my challenge group. It can be about what is coaching, whatever you want. Just branch out, make a video. I'm not even saying you have to post it to your personal page or your like page or whatever, but try making a video. Okay, how to present the business. This again goes back to my point of you can't just make super awesome posts and think that your business is going to take off. That would be really nice, but it doesn't work like that. Not everyone is going to message you and be like, hey, sometimes that happens. Sometimes people come from the clouds and are like, sign me up. Not every day, and you're not going to build your business that way. So the number one way I'm sure we all do is like one-on-one messaging, Facebook messaging, texting, whatever. Get your list of 100 people or 200 people or whatever, and just go through them. Connect with old friends. Say, hey, how are you? What are you up to these days? Don't talk about Beachbody. Don't talk about Beachbody. Just say, hey, just start the conversation. And then when you feel that there's an opportunity, it can be your second message. But if they're like, like, I'm really busy. I see your posts about working out, but I don't know how you do it. Like, say, hey, like, I have, accountability groups that I have people in. Like, don't worry, it's a private Facebook group. Like, your mother-in-law is not going to see it, but would you be interested in that? Again, ask the question. Don't say, let me know if you want me to add you. Don't do that. Ask a question. Ask for the business. Don't spam them. Like, don't spam them. That is not good. I personally also don't really like scripts. Like, don't start a conversation with a script. For me, maybe that's not everybody in the world, but like, if I can tell that you just like kind of copy and pasted that to me, like, so yeah, I'm not going to respond to that. So just like make it organic. Like, what's up? How you been? You want to talk to people. Talk to people as you would normally. Next, YouTube video explaining what coaching is. That way, the next time somebody says, what's a Beachbody coach? You just say, hey, I made this video. And they're going to be like, oh, that's legit. Like, this is kind of cool. You're not just going to type this to me. I think that makes it look like you're taking it really seriously and you've invested some time in this, and it's not like just, something you're doing, in and out. Like, you're really serious about this. You've taken some time. So that's an idea. Host a monthly coach basic group. We do this as a team, like new coach training. We've just changed it up. But a big thing is, and like sneak peeks and everything like that, but it's not on Ashley. If you put a coach in there, they're supposed to be connecting with you, not Ashley. Otherwise, they would have signed up with Ashley. And if you just like leave them in there, like, they're in good hands, totally guilty of this, they're going to be like, they didn't sign up with Ashley. They don't connect with Ashley. I mean, maybe not that they don't, but like, they need you to be there and be like, I'm sure you said when they signed up, like, I'm going to be there with you every step of the way. Help them, talk to them, build that relationship, make them feel confident. Like, if you can make someone feel confident straight out of the gate, like, you can do this, let's do this, they're going to do way better. And then they're going to know all this stuff right out of the gate, and, they're going to get started on the right foot. And then host a sneak peek monthly. Again, we do that, but it's not all on Ashley. Be involved with it, post about it, talk to people about it, present the business, say, hey, I really think you'd be great at this. No strings attached. You should just like be in this Facebook group if this is something you've ever been interested in. What do you think? There's no strings attached. Like, why would you not? If you think that someone would be good at the business, that is the best time to be like, hey. And something I tried this time, I added 2 people to the group, and I called them both before, I know them both, but like, hey, like, this is what's going to go down. Like, it's going to be this many days. You're going to see things like this. If you have any questions, honestly, not if, but when you have questions, feel free to post them in the group, but, feel free to tag me or message me. I'm here for you. But try and be checking in with them. Try and see if they're reading it, Don't just be like, they're in the group, hands off. Like, I bet it's the people that, you know, are staying engaged with the coach that they're talking to. Those are the people that are signing up. Like, a lot of it is community. Like, it's fun to meet, you know, 100 new girls that are like-minded, on the same page, have the same goals, inspire you. So don't just totally detach from that. And then challenge group follow-ups. Ashley just made a post about that this week, but if you have someone in your challenge group that's doing a really good job, be like, hey, have you ever thought about coaching? Like, you're doing everything I'm doing except getting paid. That's a great way to do it. I have challengers that I think would be great coaches, and they have hesitation, but, you know, we'll just keep riding it out and we'll see. That's where your follow-ups come in. Make a Facebook invite. Those are becoming more popular, and I think a lot of us have had a lot of success with sending it, you know, to people you'd be interested in or that you think might be interested in. I'm not a huge lover of sending it to like everyone on my list. I go through and select people. What I mean by that is like inviting people to like a sneak peek by like a Facebook event. That's what I'm talking about. So don't send it to your whole friends group. People that do that to me, I delete them. So if it's something that you like maybe talk to about or think they'd be interested in, try that. I mean, if you want to select your whole friends group, that's fine. But I guess if they're not interested, they'll just delete you anyway. No harm, no foul. But try and target it. I mean, spend a little bit of time. But that's a good idea to present the businesses by that. And then get on the phone. Seems like so old school, but it's so much faster to connect with people. Like, if you just talk on the phone for like 5 minutes, I feel like you've made strides that you would have made over Facebook message in like 3 months. Like, I have a coach now that I'm like, hey, do you just want me to call you? And she was like, yeah. And then I called her and we talked for like 15 minutes at 11:30 at night or a Wednesday night, so I could be diamond. But I'm like, hey, let me call you. And we just talked about it. Like, we just said, hey, like, this is what I'm thinking. These are my hesitations. And it sped up the process a lot. Feel free to connect with people old school, because people like that. Like, you don't Facebook message with your best friend probably. You call them. So, ideas to invite. Okay. Right there it says, making posts that say comment below if you're interested in. That's not inviting. Don't do that. I mean, do that, but don't be like, I invited my whole Facebook group. No, you didn't. Again, sneak peek, webinar, call. Don't rely on Ashley. You have to do the work. But just get out there and talk to people and have conversations. The next thing is something that I do, and I call it like a follow-up blitz. I do it probably like once a month, maybe twice a month, but I just get up like Saturday morning and I just follow up with everybody that I have like pending. And that doesn't mean I'm not doing it like intermittently. I definitely am, but I'm just like, sit down, I'm going to spend an hour and I'm going to be like, hey, have you given this like any thought? What are you thinking? Like, what are your questions? What's holding you back? And then I just follow up with, I have like honestly a million conversations going at once, but you know, you're really focused. You're not doing anything else. You're just having conversations with people. And I find that to be really effective. Like when I do that and I just like plug in and talk to people, like those are really effective for me. So try that. And then what to say when inviting. I put some like, I don't know, scripts there, but again, it's like challenge groups, like, hey, you're killing it in my challenge group. Like, have you ever thought about coaching? And then like, when I invite someone that I know personally or like that I, have met, I try and end it on like a social level, like, oh, by the way, like, love that picture of like your kid, or like, by the way, what are you guys doing this weekend, or whatever. I try and end it on a social note. So it's like, this isn't that serious. Like, if you're not interested and you want to roll right over it, like, that's fine. We're still friends. Like, don't feel like our whole relationship has now moved on to Beachbody sales and that we can't have another conversation. Don't follow up with that person and like only talk about Beachbody. Like, that's how you're gonna lose friends. That's how you're gonna get unfriended if you don't really know the person. Like, still try and grow a relationship. Like, you can't just like grow a relationship and then be like, boom, I'm ready to like have a conversation with this person and then only talk about Beachbody. With that being said, when you're adding people from Instagram or like Facebook that you like don't really know, you don't have to be like BFF, braiding each other's hair, flying out, let's go to brunch, to be like, hey, have you ever thought about Beachbody coaching? You don't need to do that. It can be like your second conversation if the opportunity comes up. I wouldn't do it on the first one. Like, hey, notice you're flat broke. Have you thought about Beachbody coaching? Like, probably not your best option. But you don't have to be best friends with someone to ask them. Like, Jill wasn't my BFF when I was like, hey, have you ever thought about this? I mean, now she is, but at that time she wasn't. Like, you know, I just invited her and she was interested. Okay. Rules with planting the seed. So wait, where'd it go? I have 2 computers going on here, so it's going good. Let's see. Rules with planting the seed. It should not be out of the blue. If you need 2 Success Club points, don't just message someone like, hey, trying to work out, or like, hey, have you ever thought about being a Beachbody coach? You need to know the need. You have to like identify the need with that person, or like how it could benefit them. You know, if you don't know how it would benefit them, other than like everyone in the world should be a Beachbody coach, it's probably too early to invite them. But once you see like, you know, this person is looking for accountability, or this person, you know, wants to stay home with their kids. Once you have that, then that's a good time to present, especially once they bring it up. But it's okay to bring it up, just not completely out of the blue. Your mindset is key. If you don't believe in the business, if you don't understand it, if you are kind of on the fence about it and you're a skeptic, that's going to come through. Also, I think when I started, I kind of felt weird asking people, because I'm like, I don't want them to be like, she's just trying to make money off me. Their opportunity of success is so much greater than me getting one coach. I'm not going to become a 6-figure earner because I signed up one person. It's not going to happen. So you need to not feel weird about asking someone. It's not maybe you'll indirectly, but their potential for success is so much greater than what you're gaining from them joining you, if that makes sense. Also, don't abandon your discount coaches. I saw a post in the group today, like someone was a discount coach and now they're starting to grow the business. Keep checking in with them. You know, they like the products, and so eventually maybe they'll be interested in sharing that. And if people are having success, even if they're a discount coach, if you've like lost like 30 pounds, I'm sure people are going to be like, what are you doing? And then they're going to be like, oh my God, this is what I'm doing. And then maybe they'll be more interested in sharing the business. So don't just abandon them. That being said, you know, I have some discount coaches that don't want to be added to the group, and I respect that, but I still check in with them. But I ask them first, like, hey, we have a team group. Like, you can turn off the notifications, but at least you'll have the information. Everyone but one said yes. So there's that. Let's see. You should plan to ask someone daily. So 7 times a week, you should plan to invite someone to the business. If you only do it 5, that's better than 0. But you should plan every day, I'm going to invite at least one person. That being said, to be Diamond, you need 8 coaches. You probably have to invite like 60 people minimum before you get to Diamond. Like, you have to be inviting people. So if you're inviting 3, 4, 5 people a day, you're going to grow your team a lot faster. So the more conversations, the better. So you just have to be doing it. Like, you're not going to grow your team if you're not asking people. And again, it's asking. It's not let me know if you're interested. Like, a car salesman has never been like, hey, let me know. No, they're going to be like, what do you like? You like this? You want to test drive it? You have to ask. But again, make it your goal to invite someone every single day. I know we all drop the ball, but make it your goal this week to every day, I'm going to invite someone to the business. I'm going to share the business opportunity. You're not on this call at 9 o'clock at night or whatever time zone you're in because you don't believe in the business. So you should feel proud. I feel obligated to share, this business with people. I'm proud of it. The opportunity for people is great. Like I want to share that. And sometimes, it's like, oh, it's a little weird, but just make it your goal to do it every day. And once you do it, it becomes easier and easier. It becomes like, second nature. You're just like, hey, you should be a Beachbody coach. Okay, let's see what else. Detach yourself from the outcome once you've presented the opportunity. Don't sit there and bite your nails like, oh, I need another coach, whatever. Detach yourself. You've invited them, you've done what you needed to do. Be there to answer their questions, but don't, if they're I'm not really interested at this time, don't be like, oh, you're dead to me. No, that's a not right now. You're gonna, chat with them. Some, circumstances change. I actually followed up with me for literally years. It wasn't the right time for me. I was in school. I was planning my wedding, whatever. It wasn't the right time. And then it was the right time. Then I was like, okay, I have time. If she would have just been cross her off the list, and never would have checked in with me, then I still wouldn't be here. So follow up with people. Circumstances change. And you have to be tracking. Again, you can scroll through your Facebook messages. That's great. But if you're having and inviting as much as you should, your Facebook messages are going to be really far. So you need to have a list of who you're following up with, what you talked about. You need to be able to reference that. I'm sure Ashley's not just scrolling all the way down to 2 years ago, oh, Lindsay, what's up? You have to stay organized. You have to stay on top of it. And that being said, we still had a relationship. She was still hey, keep engaging with those people on a personal level, even if it's not about Beachbodies. They're not interested at this time, but you can still be oh my gosh, your kids are so cute or whatever. Keep checking in and building their relationship. And, they'll grow from there. What to expect after planting the seed? Number 1, skepticism. It's normal. Everyone is a skeptic. I was a skeptic. I'm sure you were a skeptic. People are not ready to join day one. I said that earlier. Probably no one has joined the first time they were invited. But you have to relate to how they feel. You have to say, I was a skeptic too. I totally was. I was no. They need to talk to their spouse. They need to do their research. They want to see more of your posts. It's totally normal. Don't be turned off and just be oh, she thinks this is a pyramid scheme. I'm done. Just be okay with skepticism. That's normal. Number 2, clarify. They're going to miss things. They're going to have questions. We all had questions. So just be there to clarify. This is not a pyramid scheme. That's illegal. I would never do that. You might have had previous bad experiences with whatever, other companies, but this is a little different. This is my experience. I have had bad experiences too, or I've never joined another company like this. I have a full-time job. Just relate to them and, share your experiences because we all probably hesitated. So just because you're all in now doesn't mean that that person's all in now. So you just bring them through your progression of getting all in. And then ask them if they would like more information. Again, ask them, hey, is this something you think you'd be interested in? Can I send you some more information? Ask them, send them more information. Send them a bulleted list hey, this is what I'm doing. Okay. And then how to expedite the process after planting the seed. Again, no one's joining day one. So how do you kind of speed up the process so they're not, 2 years? You can't, and not everyone is on your time frame. So it's not only so much in your control, but they're watching you. They're watching your posts. Be sure your posts are engaging. Be sure you're showing that you're doing trainings, that, you're recognizing your coaches, you're giving things to your coaches. Your team is awesome. I saw a post all week, about our 21 Day Fix group. That's awesome. People are like, oh my God, that's awesome. Like you are losing weight with like your good friends. Like that's so fun. I would like to be a part of that. That's awesome. People are watching you. And then show genuine interest in them. It's about them. It's not about you. It's not about your successful points. Show genuine interest in them. Like, oh my God, I love that outfit. Where'd you get that? Or how are you guys doing? What's up this weekend? You know, show interest in their life. Not just like, hey, have you thought about Beachbody? And finally, follow up to close the deal. Again, you have to follow up. The end. You have to do it. Otherwise, people are going to fall through your fingers. You're going to present the business, and then you're not going to follow up, but somebody else is going to find them on Instagram and be like, hey, have you ever thought about being a Beachbody coach? And they'll be like, yeah, you know what, I did. And they're going to sign up under somebody else. Like, that has actually happened to me. I felt too, like, nervous to be like, hey, and then somebody else did. And then they signed up under them, and I lost because I felt uncomfortable. So you really have to be proactive about it. But, you know, nobody is going to be like, you're a weirdo. If they are, you know, okay. But honestly, there is so much, scroll through your Facebook feed. There's so much more weird stuff out there than you posting your workout pic. So the biggest thing is get out of your own way, take some risks, try some new things, try doing something other than posting on Facebook and Instagram to grow your network. You know, if making a script helps you, great, but try and message people you're not talking to every day. If you feel stuck and you feel like you don't know where to start and you have no one to talk to and you've talked to everyone, then you need to build your network. You need to expand your network. You need to meet new people and build those relationships. And that is time consuming for sure, but that's what you have to do. And that's it.
Thank you, Lindsay. You did awesome.
Thanks.
Does anybody have any questions for Lindsay? We'll keep it short because it is 9:50 my time. But does anybody have any questions for Lindsay?
That call, oh my God. I have to like watch it at least like 3 more times. There's so much information in it. So much good information. I hope everyone watches this. All 100 and
try to make it worth your time.
It was very good. I don't know. I posted something in there. Oops, that's not the question. That's participants chat.
Yeah, it's probably long gone.
Let's see.
Talking something about a Jello shot blog. Adding people. Yeah, so we talked about freemiums, but I guess my problem was, so Shalene always talks about that, but I feel like I have to have a website or a blog or something to then get them to go there to get the freemium or whatever I would make. Do you agree? Because I'm like,
I think like eventually, like if you have this like huge link, but like if you just say like, hey, what's your email address? You could email it from like your Google account. Like it's not going to be automatic, and you know you have to attach it. You type an email that you could copy and paste to everybody. I mean, there's services out there that like I use for work that will automatically do that, and like landing pages. But at the beginning, I don't know, you want to invest in that, but you just get their email address and email it out. So
okay,
you could do it that way.
That's all I got.
I will just with the couple of the comments that people said, as somebody said about like being picky, you can spend way too much time over analyzing things. Your power hour should literally be an hour. So if you spend that hour analyzing, like, okay, how should I start this conversation? Well, before you know it, 50 minutes has gone by and your entire power hour, you sat there and you try to be a perfectionist. Being a coach is not being a perfectionist. It's about being real. So if you sit there and you're trying to figure out that conversation in your head, then you're not being real with them. Like, you just have to do it. You don't want to waste, and I don't remember who I heard it from once, but you don't want to waste your time and your power doing things that aren't going to help your business. So sitting there and like actually thinking, okay, like, how is this going to help me? And how is this conversation to go, and laying it on your head? You've lost 50 minutes. You just wasted 15 minutes that you could have grown your business and you haven't done anything. So you have to make sure you're not analyzing it and being nitpicky. things are going to happen one way or another. They're going to say yes. They're going to say no. It doesn't matter how awesome your conversation is. They're going to tell you the same answer no matter how you talk to them. So you can't spend that time being picky. Adding to your network, 5-15 minutes max. How I add to my network is I may do a little differently from Lindsay, but it's because I've been adding to my network for 2 years. So I have to go about different ways of doing it. I'm like, we went to high school together. Bam, 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 bam. I just friend requested 10 people. I'm done. That took me 5 minutes. I'm done for the day. Or bam, I went to my like page. 10 new people like my like page. I'm going to go add them as friends. Okay, I'm done. That took 2 minutes. There's things that shouldn't take up too much time of your day. The things that should take up the most of your power is your inviting, is those key conversations and creating those relationships, and not 50 minutes to think of one conversation just to say, hey. Like, that should not take 15 minutes. So if you're overanalyzing that, you got to stop. We talked about in our Diamond Dashers group today, we are our own worst fear. We're our own worst blockers. We're what keeps us from holding each other back. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but you guys get what I'm saying. I asked my Diamond Dashers today, I said, how's the inviting going? And almost every single person said, I invited one person. I invited 2 people. I didn't invite anybody this week. If you want to grow your business, whether it's to make extra income, whether it's to quit your job, whether it's to take your family on vacation, quit weekends, no matter what it is, you have to grow your business, which means you have to invite. So it's awesome that Lindsay did a call on this, because there's no way around it other than growing your business. You can sell all the challenge packs you want in the world, but you're not going to have residual income. You're going to make $40-50 from the one challenge pack sale, and that's going to be at the end of the day. You have to just keep inviting and forming those relationships and adding new coaches to your team, and knowing that you're changing their lives by them also joining your team and being introduced to Beachbody. Sorry for a mini little rant. So yeah, that's that. So thank you, Lindsay, for doing this call. Does anybody have any questions real quick before I let you guys go? Because it is kind of late than usual. Oh, and before I forget, going forward, because of summer and it's going to get nice out and people aren't going to want to be on the calls and they're going to be doing things, we're going to start doing our calls bi-weekly. It's just, I think this is a good move for the summertime. I talked to a couple of the leaders on the team and we all agreed. So going forward, we will do it bi-weekly. So we'll go ahead and continue on with next week, the 14th, and then going forward after that, that's when we'll start bi-weekly. So next week we'll have a team call, and then we won't have another one until the 28th. So just a heads up so you guys know.
Hey, quick question, Ashley.
Yep. Go ahead, Katrina.
You mentioned there was a calendar somewhere about...
It's in the team page. It's just like the one that I posted last month for the month of April. If you go to photos in the team page, you should be able to find it.
Oh, under photos. Okay.
I'll tag you in it. There it is. I'll tag you.
Okay, cool.
Anybody have anything else? Nope. All right. Well, you guys have an amazing week. The week, month, whatever it is. I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. It's still early. You guys have lots of time to hit goals and whatnot. So let's make this an amazing week, and I will see you all next Thursday.
Bye.
Good night.